Castaway 2000 is the story of a cross-section of the British population cast adrift on a remote island. For the first year of the new millennium, they will work together to build a new society and reflect on the lives they have left behind. Over 4,000 people applied to be cast away, but just 60 were chosen for the final selection stage, where they had a chance to win a place on the island. Our team of experts were looking for a blend of leaders and followers, of enthusiasm and commitment, and a range of characters to reflect British society today.
I am. Am I really?
Yes! Top banana chick.
In the end, a mix of singles, couples and families, 36 men, women and children were invited to join Castaway 2000.
Castaway 2000. Okay.
The 28 adults and 8 children were chosen from 2 separate selection courses. The 2 halves of the community met for the first time last October during a weekend retreat in the Lake District.
The first group that was selected, they were quite an assertive group, and at the outset they were certainly more demanding. Introduction of the second group, who are very much peacemakers, it seems at the moment, although they haven't been tried and tested that much, to the initial group, I think will be interesting.
Okay, big smiles.
The weekend gathering is the first opportunity to start planning for the year ahead and a chance to address the practicalities of what and how much they can take with them.
Right, Trev, get the lid.
Spike it down.
Get on then.
Oh, this'll do me. This'll do me. We've just weighed up now. 1,000 tins of lager.
I must admit,
The wife's in one corner.
I just walked in the room and I looked at the outside and I just thought you were having a laugh. 1 year of everything I'm ever going to need. You must be joking.
The excitement of discovering their baggage allowance quickly turned into tension. Some of the castaways were unhappy with the contract they've been asked to sign, establishing the expenses they'll be given, the materials they'll have with them on the island, and their relationship with the programme makers.
Those people who felt that they'd like to meet without Lion, show their hands.
I've walked out because I'm really angry and upset. The simple fact is I think some people have lost the plot.
Oh God, what are we letting ourselves in for? What am I letting myself in for?
This is about, and they want all their comforts as if it's just, they're moving to a hotel, you know what I'm saying? And it's the petty behaviour that they're putting out, which really gets up my nose.
Today is a really difficult day. Have they lost what initially they set out they wanted to go into this for? Because that's what it sounded like to me with some of them.
It's been one heck of a shock meeting up with the other group. They're in a different place to us completely. They feel that they are fairly angry and suspicious at the way the contract things have gone. The second group, my group, I think we were still at the euphoria stage and thinking, wow, everything's right. And yeah, the contract is mainly okay. So it was a big shock to walk into such aggression and confrontation and suspicion yesterday.
Very quickly, people started to stab people in the back. And I still feel, even now, on Sunday, that I'm pulling knives out of my back. People are too fast at the moment to slag people off, to jump on somebody because they've expressed a thought, or because they've spoken out, or because they've said something that somebody disagrees with.
Can't stand bickering, me, and there's been too much bickering going on.
But it's not been bickering over
Well, no, what
I mean, but it's the wrong sort of bickering.
I'm getting on some people's tits, people are getting on my tits. Can't really do much about it at the moment, just got to go with the flow and see what happens.
Some of the people that are going, I really like. One of them I love. And some of them I don't like. And it would be difficult to find something with them.
Is it still nothing we win? No, only pose.
Ron has always spoken his mind, but won the affection of many of the castaways through his quick wit and good humour.
Oh, God.
But throughout the current debate, his forthright opinions have not been to everyone's liking.
Too many fucking chiefs, not enough Indians.
He feels that too many people are bitching about him and hate him, and
I thought the idea of going to the island would be about freedom and choice and living a different way, and it doesn't seem to be about that.
he's called a taxi, he's about to go, and I'm working really hard to try and stop him because he'll be such a huge loss.
It's a whole load of things. It's a whole load of stuff. It's not any one thing. Why would I be walking away from my life and my friends and my family? Why? And so I'm not really sure if this is for me. Finished. Absolutely finished. No more on camera, no more nothing.
I'm very sad that Ron has decided he's not going to go.
Oh, I will.
He was the character as far as I was concerned, and every group, whoever they are, whatever they're doing, they need a character. And he would have been a wonderful fulcrum around which a lot of laughter, humour, etc. would have centred. He would have been there with that. And as far as I'm concerned, that's not going to be there. And I'm really quite sad.
The contract dispute and Ron's sudden departure puts a dampener on proceedings. But with just 9 weeks to go before the castaways assemble again on the island, most remain positive about the year ahead.
I really do, if I think about it, truly believe that this is not the way it's going to go. This is just something that's happening now. Because if it does, it's going to be very interesting, put it that way.
I don't really have as much to say as many other people, it seems. I just kind of want to go. I feel the same as I always have done throughout the project. I just want to go take that risk, take the chances, have some fun. Come on, let's do it.
2 weeks later, there's a different crisis. In the Outer Hebrides, storms have put the building schedule even further behind. Despite a break in the weather and the best efforts of the local builders, there are now grave doubts whether the island will be ready in time. On the mainland, some of the castaways are preparing to come over and help.
Exciting, petrified, happy, scared. Oh, you name it, and I think every single word you can ever think that sums up being scared and being excited, and it's just an amalgamation of everything. If one person says they wasn't apprehensive about what was going to happen, they got to be lying.
Each of the castaways have been given their own crate to contain the 100-kilogram weight limit for their year away.
As you can see, the place is so full of
Rubbish.
well, you can put it that way, I wouldn't.
My mate's mum knitted me this when I had my motorbikes when I was 17, so it's what, 17 years old. So that'll do me there.
It's going to get cold, obviously, especially at night. Envisage, in bed.
I've got about 10 pairs of boxies, so if we wear them inside out back to front, they'll last 40 days.
Here's my washing machine.
This is a Rod Stewart wig, so you give it a good shake and you put it, just shake it.
Beautiful.
Loads of toothpaste.
Perfume.
My feet don't smell too bad.
A 2-kilogram bar of chocolate.
I couldn't take the wife because she's working, so I decided on taking brewing equipment.
A little bit of lace and a little bit of red, and just to go with that. So that is the real emergency kit here.
Going without sex for 12 months could be a bit of a problem or a possibility. I know we've got a guy there who's a doctor, but I thought, well, might as well bring myself a pack of condoms just in case. I'll tell you exactly how I get along during the year. Every episode, I'll tell you how I'm doing with them.
They're being a bit hopeful, aren't they? Typical man, always thinking they're on a promise.
Well, I think as long as I don't wear this at the same time as the condom, I might have a chance. But I think if I'm wearing this while I've got the condom on, I've got no chance.
Well, they won't keep you very warm, will they?
No, it's not. I won't need them to keep me warm.
Maybe have some kind of heating method.
Have some kind of company.
I haven't really gone that, when I say that long, without it for a period of time, so I suppose the younger lads might find it a little bit tougher, maybe. I'll just have to live on my memories. all two of them.
Some musical instruments.
It's early December, and 16 of the castaways have given up work early to spend a fortnight on Taransay, working as an advance party. For Tammy, it's a trip tinged with sadness because it's the first time she's ever left her ailing mother.
I know she must be finding this extremely hard because I've always been there through illness, and I think it must strain her.
It is a long step. I feel it's a long step that we've both taken. Tammy deserves a life of her own. She deserves to go off. Sorry. She really deserves to start her own life. And I'm glad she's doing it this way because it's breaking away. I will miss her. I will miss her terribly.
After months of planning for their new life on the island, the first glimpse of Taransay is an emotional moment for the castaways. For Ben, in particular, the golden beaches of the Outer Hebrides seem a long way from the high society and bright lights of London, where until a few days ago he worked as a picture editor on Tatler magazine.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
So that would be fine for the contributors?
Yeah, no, absolutely fine.
Coming from a big city, from working in an office environment, going to parties, eating quite well, drinking lots, being surrounded by yeah, lots of beautiful girls. No, I mean I think that goes without saying. To suddenly plonk myself on an island in the middle of nowhere, windswept, with, to all intents and purposes, 30 strangers. It's hugely weird.
For the year 2000, this will be home for the castaways. The members of the advance party are in jubilant mood on arrival. Throughout their time on Taransay, all the castaways will be recording their thoughts about the experience and reflecting on the lives they've left behind on video diaries.
Flying across to it by the helicopter was just fantastic, and after 6 months of talking about the island and everything else, it was just every Christmas, birthday and dream all rolled into one.
I really did.
It's been such a long time getting here.
Oh, this is just... it's more beautiful than I thought it was going to be. Even though it's cold, windy, and it was just stopped raining, it's absolutely fantastic. This is it for a year.
Rich, fertile ground. Look at all those stones.
Amazing. That's fantastic. I suppose my first impressions of the island are amazing, absolutely amazing. And then when Toby got out and he did his little backflip and, you know, tears welling in his eyes, a big lump came to my throat.
Just a week ago, Toby was a pensions analyst in Leeds.
No more sitting at the desk. No more playing Ryvita on the PC when no one's looking.
It's incredible. Finally here.
There's been many times I've stood at the window and sort of gazed out and to be outside, you know, in all sorts of weathers, and I've got it. And wow, what an opportunity.
Hey, Tommy!
Oh, come on! Come on! Home!
For the last 6 months or so, this has been what we've been building up for, finishing work, saying goodbye to people, and finally we were actually here.
Beautiful place. Yeah. So at the end of the year, is it okay if I stay here?
The advance party must now prepare for 2 weeks of hard work, living in the house as they build the island infrastructure. For some, the fortnight will be tougher than others, especially for Mike, who seems to have his own agenda.
Well, it's a house. We've come to be castaways and try and make do with something alternative. So, if at all possible, if we can get away without going into the house, I don't want to set foot in it. Just something I've said to myself. Give it a bash. If I crack and fail, so be it.
Right, but he's not coming in.
No. But we made Mike a bed. I made Mike a bed upstairs with 2 mattresses, so it's perfect. But when I said to Mike, we've got a bed for you, he was more than happy to sleep outside in his bivvy bag. But then, you know,
decline the offer.
It is only 70 miles an hour wind tonight, so I'm sure it'll be fine, hidden in the lee of the building, in the greenhouse.
Mike's decided this unheated cabin will be his home for the next 2 weeks.
But it's not warm out here, and this thing feels like a ship because the wind's so strong outside. I think it's about to take off. Yeah, even with us lot in here, I can actually feel it moving around, and just for me, I feel like I'm rolling around.
But he's already sort of switching off from the community and alienating himself, and which is not the whole point of this exercise. It's the point of being together. I know it's always been his plan, but all the time I've been thinking, you know, we're all here for each other, so what's the point? Why doesn't he go find an island on his own and bye-bye Mike?
For Mike, it will be a long, cold night. In the morning, the castaways awake to their first sunrise on Taransay. Before the hard work begins, it's a first chance to explore their new home.
Oh, it's amazing!
Julie's first thoughts turn to the contrast between her new life and the life she is leaving behind.
Just think of them all on the Northern Line, all hang on with other people's armpits and mess and people and just cramped and crowded and smelly and doing everything for everybody else. And just look at this. Just look at the sky. And it's ours for a year. Aren't we lucky? Aren't we just so lucky?
I've nothing to say. That's what this island's doing to me. I must admit, it's just making me totally relaxed, and I'm enjoying every minute of it, and I'm so looking forward to this next 12 months. I have thought quite a few times about what I'm leaving behind, family, and that's the big thing. And I just wish they could experience it with me. I really do.
In London, Ron is wondering if he made the right decision to walk out on the project.
And I suppose there's a part of me that cannot bear to think I won't be part of it. And I do think it's a gift. You know, a chance to get away, live on an island, get away from mobile phones, get away from all the things that drive me mad. And the thought that they will be there and I won't be there and I'll never have that experience. It's very difficult.
His saying 1 minute I want to go and the next minute I'm not sure is part of the way he likes to see himself as, you know, I'm making the decision here and, you know, I'm not quite sure about this and I'm not sure if I want to go, and, you know, having people a bit worried and trying to get people to say to him, oh, you must come, Ron, you must come, we're desperate for you to come. But he has a contribution to make, undoubtedly. He's a very funny guy, and actually I think he's very kind.
Ron's been given a week to decide whether he wants to rejoin the project. On Taransay, the state of the buildings is causing concern for some of the castaways.
I mean, I've just arrived, as you know, and my first impressions, I've seen the building and that. It's nobody's going to be ready on time. It can't be. I mean, at the rate of the way things are going, the building is going, it'll never do. I mean, 3 weeks, something like that. You'll never get this thing ready in 3 weeks' time. Not unless we do something drastic.
With just 23 days to go before the new millennium and materials arriving thick and fast, the castaways set about building some of the basic infrastructure that they will rely on during their year on Taransay. To help them grow crops in the harsh Hebridean climate, temporary greenhouses or polytunnels will be erected. But first they must be securely anchored into the ground. Fresh water will be siphoned from a nearby lock, but not before a storage tank and platform is built. The community's electricity will be generated by wind power, so the castaways have to erect an 8-metre tower to support the windmill. Once the tower is in place, half a mile of cables have to be laid, yet another job for the eager castaways.
The time limits generally most people would view to be ludicrous, but the thing that we have on our side is a lot of enthusiasm from the castaways. Where your average builder doesn't want to be down a hole at 12 o'clock at night, he'd rather be home in his bed, the castaways are quite happy to jump in there and get on with it.
One of the keenest labourers is Tammy. Until a week ago, she was working in an office.
I've amazed myself in many ways because at home, being in society, it's how you look, what I wear, and make sure things don't clash and you look good all the time. But here and now, it just doesn't matter. Even though that you've got the cameras on you, we're all wearing things. We all look like Michelin men, and it doesn't matter anymore. What matters is keeping warm and dry, and that's just been amazing. And just looking a mess all the time, but not really caring.
Mike, can you get me a copy of the Telegraph?
Yeah, I'll just pop across to the paper shop.
During a break in the work schedule, Mike's desperate to don his wetsuit and get into the water. Without it, his survival time would be a matter of minutes.
Quite daft, really. I don't think I'd go out there in any weather, even with 2 swimsuits on, Vaseline round your mouth, but maybe he's used to things like that. But no, I'm not used to Vaseline anyway. But he's enjoying himself, and that's the main thing, I think. Participation, but he just likes the wilderness, I suppose. Yeah. You might get a good rip current and mightn't see him again. That could be a blessing in disguise. Just got to play by ear, haven't you? These jobs. Come on, mate! Can he swim? Just as a passing thought. Hey, off he's going.
Okay, we're clear here. Okay.
Under the supervision of alternative energy expert Hugh Piggott, the castaways are ready to erect the 2.5 kilowatt windmill that will provide limited electricity for the whole community.
The wind's beginning to build up now, and we've got a storm forecast for tonight. This must be one of the windiest places in the world, I should think, northwest coast of Scotland, and that's quite a problem for survival, physical and mental. But one of the beauties of having wind as your electricity supply is that you're actually harnessing that, so from having been a life-threatening force, it becomes something that you've domesticated, and I think they'll find psychologically it's quite a boost to them to be getting power coming in from this windmill in these sort of conditions.
Wow, hey! Cool. Look at that.
Hello, this is Castaway 1. Castaway 1 calling Stornoway Coast Guard. Please come in, over.
Communication with the outside world will be by post, but because of the extreme conditions, they will have a satellite phone for use in emergencies only and will maintain regular radio contact with the local Coast Guard.
Hello, this is Castaway 1. Repeat, Castaway 1 calling Stornoway Coast Guard. Come in, please, over. Hello, Stornoway Coast Guard, we have contact. This is Taransay. Everything's well on Taransay. Great to speak to you.
There's a new arrival in the warmth of the house. After 2 nights freezing in the cabin, Mike's come in from the cold.
Just keep twisting him.
You made it, I knew you'd cave in.
Yeah.
Hey, what's this? Hey, all that bullshit about not coming in and out.
Gwyneth grabbed me. But my mother would as well.
I don't know. So we've no Tarzan on the island now?
Not yet. I'm sure he can fill that position and be Ray.
As Mike comes back into the fold, Gordon is feeling increasingly isolated. His religious and cultural beliefs are making it difficult for him to integrate with the rest of the group.
I can see divisions coming along. There is divisions now. But I just hope that they can understand the reason why I have to disassociate myself with some of the activities that they're carrying on because of my lifestyle is different to their lifestyle.
Gordon and his family are Seventh-day Adventists. This means that he, his wife Cassie and their 2 children observe strict religious practices, including no work on a Saturday because it's their day of rest.
Every day they pass me by.
It's already clear that adapting to Gordon's lifestyle and spiritual beliefs will be a challenge for some of the other castaways.
Most of what they're doing doesn't interest me anyhow. For instance, I don't drink alcohol, right? So that already sort of put me out on a limb, if you can see what I'm saying. Also, there's certain foods I don't eat. and which they eat anything. I don't. So there has to be like a different sort of cooking arrangement for myself.
He only eats particular kinds of fish. I think not fish with scales, or I mean, I thought they all had scales. I'm not quite sure about it, but it's difficult. We've had a tough time feeding Gordon.
He's ostracised himself though, because we've made it our business to say, Gordon, would you like to come in here? Would you like to come and help out? Would you like to play cards? Would you like to come and listen to a story? Whatever. But he's definitely sort of apart. When we're all in one room, he's in the other. It's almost like he specifically swaps rooms.
I've been ostracized for a long time in various different things that I've done in my life since I've been in this country. So that doesn't bother me. It's like water off a duck's back, you know. It's like being called names because you're black. That doesn't bother me now at all. At first I used to want to kill him, but now I just realize as you grow older you get wiser and you think it's just pointless, you know what I'm saying? It's just, if they have a problem with it, well, it's their problem, it's not my problem.
After just a few days living together, the members of the advance party are already forming opinions about each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Who's going to crack up first? Of the people I've seen here, I would say maybe to keep an eye on Mike more than Gordon, because with Gordon he's got his family, so he can be strong with them and he can deal with it and he can get comfort that way. With Mike coming on the project as an individual, he'll be looking at other individuals to get comfort off and to chat to.
I think it's the grey seal, from what I know about them.
Yeah.
And the poor wee thing looks as though it's had a bit of a rough existence. So I employed Colin's help this morning to come down and skin the wee beastie. You can see there's a hole right through the pelt.
There's the hole.
What nature doesn't want, we can have.
So I think Mike could be, if we're running books on everything, you know what I mean? So if I was running a book and I was the bookie, I'd say Mike.
I was really squeamish about cutting it open, but now you get kind of used to it. It's a new one for his book and a new one for mine.
At the end of their first experience of the island, what are the feelings about the year ahead?
I think we're going to breeze through this year. I really do. It sounds very cocky. Come on, Inca, come on. I can see how double the number of people that are here now, and add children, and more dogs, and livestock, and less food, and windier weather, wetter weather, colder weather. Yeah, actually, probably will be quite hard.
As the members of the advance party leave the island and head home for Christmas, the builders continue their race against the clock to have the specially designed accommodation units ready for just a week later when all the castaways return. Will be Mike and Trevor, who have decided to spend Christmas together on Taransay.
As long as we've got Christmas pud, crackers, nice hats, party hats.
Couple of lap dancers.
Yeah, a couple of beers.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Bottle of champagne online.
Yep.
Back on the mainland, their fellow castaways each have their own way of saying goodbye to friends and family.
Patrick Murphy, fare thee well. And among them now I wish I could dwell.
On Taransay, Trevor and Mike enjoy a quiet Christmas dinner.
Do you want that card?
Depends what the rest look like.
Do you want that card?
No.
While the high spirits and tearful goodbyes continue on the mainland.
Right, orangey things.
Cheers, man.
I heard you had your leaving party last week.
Oh, good luck. I really do all that in the world.
Bye, lovely.
We're going to be taking all of you, each and every one of you, with us on that island.
While the castaways party into the night, the building work continues around the clock in a bid to get the island ready. Accommodation is now required for one more person since Ron has had a change of heart and rejoined the project.
I don't want to sit next to a farter or a snorer.
Because you are all this.
So you're going to be on your own, on a hill, somewhere else on the island.
When have you heard me snore? When have you heard me snore?
I've never slept with you.
Liar.
I've never slept.
I feel a bit of humiliation and I feel a little bit of shame around Some people may be thinking I'm a bit of a drama queen and I quit and now I'm going to do it again. But I think, well, I can't give those people too much mind because they can't stop me. Whatever they think of me, they can't stop me. It's my decision.
I think that he'll be the person that pushes people's buttons, and I'm not going to run away from
That's
it.
so unlike
We're the only one left at the end of the year.
Yeah, but I don't think he'll run away, and I think that he'll come out popular, but I do think that it will be difficult, and I don't think it will just be difficult for Ron. I think it will be difficult for those people that come in contact with him.
I'm not an angel. I'm not perfect. I never will be perfect. And I'm going to screw up. And I'm going to say things I don't really mean. I'm going to say things in the heat of the moment. You know, I'm going to make people laugh. I'm going to make people cry. I'm going to piss people off. And all that's going to happen to me as well with other people. You know, but it's exciting.
Back on Taransay, there's a new double act in town as rehearsals get underway for the all-new Mike and Trevor show.
Also today, we have some international news.
And take two. I can't. This is a sober.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Taransay weather. As you can see, it's a fine day here with mild, light southerly winds. We don't expect anything more than this constant 80-mile-an-hour...
Spending Christmas together on the island has made Trevor reevaluate his opinion of Mike.
Really, when you get to know him, he is a sound guy. He's got a lot of emotion underneath. I've been taught from this experience that really, even though we all do it, take people on face value. We don't have enough time in life to look into exactly what is inside a person because we're all too busy working and dealing with our own little problems, that in a situation like this then you can find out a lot about people.
Yes, it's definitely it's definitely summery.
It's now just a few days to go before the Castaways return. There is still plenty of building work to be completed and time is running out.
Up to you, if you want. It's now 3 o'clock on the 29th of December. We're 2 days before the new year, the Millennium, and most of the builders are winding down, physically and metaphysically. One of them drank a whole bottle of whiskey to himself last night. He was the best joiner on the site. So we've lost him. I think we've exhausted every labourer, tradesman and building material source in the whole of the Western Isles now. I've probably fallen out with most of them, having phoned them on the second day after Christmas, expecting them to drop their families and run for us. Most of them have risen to the bait though, and they've served us very well.
Ready or not, the Castaways are coming. And on New Year's Eve, those community members unable to make the advance party get a first glimpse of their new homes.
Fantastic. Flying over it is just amazing.
Ending. It was the most wonderful thing I've ever seen. It's just everything and more that I ever dreamed it would be.
Absolutely stunning. I just couldn't believe it.
Just the snow on the top of the mountains and the blue sea and the birds.
Yeah, and being able to look right through into the water and the scale of it. It's just
awesome.
beyond belief.
Yeah, awesome.
After 50 years as a ruin, the old schoolhouse has become the new schoolhouse as the first of the children arrive on Taransay.
I'm just overwhelmed by it, really. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's such fantastic weather as well. I thought it was going to be, torrential rain and gale force winds, but it's lovely at the moment. It's just lovely. And I can really imagine living here for a year. I really can now.
For the past 2 months, materials and supplies have been arriving by air and sea. But the most valuable cargo are the Castaways' crates, packed with essentials and decorated for further use.
This is day one, so this will be the 1st of January. I don't know quite how I'm going to mark it off. Maybe use some paint. I've got some paint inside, and maybe draw a little picture on it. And that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 my sister Emily's birthday. First time I ever remembered that.
But not all the crates have made it to Taransay. 4 of the castaways hear that their crates have fallen while being airlifted over and that they must sift through the debris for signs of their belongings.
I think it's mine.
Sure, is it a feather one?
Yeah.
It's got holes.
Feathers are coming out of a lot of things.
Was yours feather duvet?
Yeah.
So how we can tell? Mine will have a habitat label if it's mine.
It's ruined. All this stuff from home that you just spent such a long time putting together. It's wrecked. Yeah.
There's your blow-up guitar. I think that's the blow-up thing and that's the
I know it's not the end of the world, I know we'll get it sorted out, but it's all the little bits and pieces that you have to make yourself a home. It's okay. Nobody's died. It's all right. It's just a bit upsetting. That's all. I just got to get.
In many ways, it brought out a lot of good characteristics from a bad situation, and it also made the others so heartbroken for them. And some of the others, Sandy, for example, was nearly in tears about it. She was very upset for the others. So already they're acting as a cohesive group and very supportive of each other in many ways.
There's more bad news on the island where a flu epidemic has struck down over half of the community.
Feeling quite rough.
Are you?
Yeah.
Basically everyone's ill. And we've all been to the doctors and we're all on antibiotics and everything else. And we're here for good and the excitement's gone and I just want my bed at the moment and everyone's trying to plan the party for New Year's and I'm trying to be excited and I am, but I just wish I was feeling 100% better.
The illness has just been a disaster. We almost have segregation in the community now. We have the house on the island full of people who are really very sick.
Now, for the last few months, Dr. Roger Stevenson has been helping prepare his fellow volunteers for the project. But the flu outbreak comes at a time when he's not yet on the island. Delayed en route from the mainland, his concerns over some of the incomplete building works have raised questions as to when or if he and his family will arrive on Taransay.
You can't move in when it's all sanitised and all cleaned up. You've got to get in and get your hands dirty a bit, otherwise.
Of course, otherwise you just arrive there and it's sort of like a set that was already built for us.
The whole Roger thing, a lot of people have... See, I feel a bit sorry for him because it's sort of building up and up and up and up because he hasn't been around and with all these rumours are spreading about things that he's made, conditions that he's made to come out here. And some of them do seem a little bit ridiculous. But whether they're true or not, we don't know. So a lot of people are getting annoyed with him before he's even here.
It will remain to be seen whether the doctor's family actually arrive here, whether they stay here if they do arrive, and how the others get on with them when they come, if they're expecting others to have cleaned the house and have put up the windmill and have put in the coal fire for them and that kind of thing. That can create a lot of distress because many people here are working incredibly hard.
Basically, it's about 6 hours to D-Day, and we just want to get everything tidied, everything out of the way, so that we can have a nice party this evening, because it's Millennium Eve. The builders and the plumbers and everyone have left all the bits and pieces. We're trying to sort it all out, sweep it down, wipe it down, get ourselves together, and then have a big, big party.
By late afternoon, all the castaways are on the island, including Roger Stevenson and his family.
We're all here now. We should try and... This is the first time we've all been together since Windermere, and I think most of us are really up for it.
I know you are.
At least in terms of having tonight. I actually really want this to work out, and I think... I mean, obviously we're going to face difficulties over the year. Admittedly, we weren't expecting such difficulties so soon.
You weren't.
I was expecting a certain amount of difficulty.
What difficulties were you expecting day one?
Day one, well, I wasn't expecting lack of dry clothes.
Were you expecting an armchair?
I don't care where to sit, as long as I got somewhere to put my bum. Like. But no, I mean, dry clothes is probably the one thing I wasn't expecting to be a difficulty at this point. But at the same time,
it is a difficulty.
It is a difficulty. But
what about washing your armpits?
Well, you could be a lonely man in that scenario.
New Year's a big thing over here. If they're not here to celebrate, if they're not here to take a cup of kindness with them, then that can linger on into the winter months. And they've got a lot of winter months ahead.
Well, we're going to stay and see what
Go back
happens.
tomorrow.
Go back tomorrow.
With the stoves fired up, the countdown to the new millennium begins. The flu virus might have laid them low, but they are determined to start their year as castaways with a night to remember.
Top of the world, yeah. What a millennium, eh? What a New Year's Eve party. Spot on.
We've got chicken in the oven and baked potatoes, sausage, onions, beans and boiled potatoes for the children. And very heavy on Miller's Light, Guinness, Scotch whisky and whatever you want in there.
But there are 4 absentees from the party. Gordon Carey and his family will see in the new year on their own.
No, I won't miss going. I won't miss it. If I was like the type that goes to parties and dance and discos, probably I would, but I don't. So if I'm awake, then I'll probably come out and join you lot. If not, then I'll see you in the morning and say Happy New Year in the morning if all is well.
There's a more festive mood outside in the paddock, where the combination of a bonfire and a few drinks is keeping people warm and happy.
But all this would be burning. Don't you know we've got fires for the next year?
I know.
Who's going to go out on the beach tomorrow and
I will.
Well, you better, because I'm bleeding up.
No, I'm really happy and I feel very content. It sounds awful, but I don't miss anybody at home.
I'm really enjoying it. I think it's really challenging and it's just chaos, which I quite enjoy.
We want a building that's ready. We're not. I mean, in the middle of winter, I'm not into camping in a half-finished building. What we wanted and we asked for was just to have a room for our family, access to be able to wash our clothes, to wash our bodies without, queuing up.
You'll be able to do that.
Well,
yeah, sure. When we can,
weeks.
then we'll be here.
But then we'll be
not
here.
until.
It's certainly the strongest wind I've ever encountered in my life. Still enjoying it though. Real good fun. Good crowd. Good crack.
I actually saw a shooting star. I know it sounds, most people have seen one, but that's the first time ever I've seen a shooting star. It was wonderful, it really was.
Just like millions of others around the world, the residents of Taransay celebrated with fireworks as they marked the passing of another year, the start of a new millennium, and the first day of their new lives together.
Wait till next year.
The party continues well into the night, but in the morning the castaways must face the reality of living and working together. We'll find out how they cope with the challenges next year, when we return to complete the story of Castaway 2000.
It's New Year's Day.
There's no food.
Everybody's ill, and there's just not enough food.
Have you got clearance from the BBC Press Office?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I just wanted to keep my eye on them the whole time and make them realise, give them a similar treatment to the treatment that they were giving us, I suppose.
Already they've survived a food shortage and press intrusion and suffered their first casualty as Porrig is airlifted off with a fractured leg. Dr. Roger Stevenson also left the island along with a handful of castaways who were either sick or had decided to leave the island until building work was completed. Ben and Sandy were sent to investigate the feelings of those not on the island.
there is a possibility that a few of you are going to be here for a couple of weeks, and we're going to be there, and we're sorting out food and various other things. So we decided that it would probably be a good idea just to come over and just basically, because we are supposed to all be together and just tell you what's happening. Basically, half the roof off the whole of the toilet block has come off. The pig shed's missed.
Just missed the polytunnels.
Just missed the polytunnels by just a couple of feet.
We've lost a large proportion of the felt off one of the pods. The pods are leaking. People are very cramped. People are tired. People are irritable.
This was all, this was going to be our main challenge of the whole year, the weather. And that's what, I think we can all agree with that.
Our problem is that we want to be accommodated in the way we expected, and we don't feel we can function usefully unless we have that.
We don't want to be there until it is leak-proof, warm.
But that's why you're here now, because you're not happy with it there.
Yeah,
so stay here.
But
stay here until you're happy with it there.
Absolutely. But what we can't have is people coming here telling it's complete, and everybody's in wild spirits.
Yes.
And then we go across and find that there's another leak.
But we haven't done that, Roger.
You were telling us that everybody's in high spirits. No, you haven't told us it's complete, but we have been told various things are complete, and they're patently not.
I just went off alone and was so in love with it that very soon I was wondering how I'm going to cope with the end of the year, and being quite nostalgic about it before I even start.
We volunteered for this, remember?
We volunteered under certain terms, which were that we had accommodation, and our terms were that we were clothed adequately for the Western Isles.
You know it's going to be cold, you know it's going to be wet, you know it's going to be really severe, miserable weather conditions an awful lot of the time. So you buy the things, you get it organised.
Fine, I've got my waterproof trousers, but my opinion is that you folk should be making them pay for your waterproof trousers.
Because you're talking about trousers, and me and other people lost their crates. We haven't got really vital things that we did think ahead for the year. We brought all these things for the year. I haven't even got my bedding. I haven't got a pillow, I haven't got sheets, I haven't got a pair of boots, I've got a pair of trainers. All the things I did think about bringing are fucking gone.
So, really sorry we even came over to get your view.
Ben.
That's what Ron's saying.
No, it isn't. I'm going to try and... No, Ben.
Overall, everybody's spirits are quite high. We had a mishap with some of the crates. We lost 2 or 3 crates in the sea. So, but it could have been worse. It could have been mine. So, it's a bit selfish of me, but hey, who gives a toss?
I just begin to think, what am I doing here? It's just...
With all its ups and downs, the Castaway adventure is now underway.